Namaste to one and all present here. My name is Amrita, and today I'm going to confront the harsh reality of the colonial mindset and talk about the topic Colonial Wounds, Eternal Heritage, India's Enduring Resilience and Legacy. Now, imagine a country bursting with potential, rich in culture, and home to some of the brightest minds in the world. Yet, despite this abundance, India still grapples with challenges that hold us back from greatness. The root of many of these challenges lies not in our capabilities, but in a lingering colonial mentality, a mindset which makes us doubt ourselves. Recently, I read a poem on killing a tree by Jeev Patel. He describes how hacking and chopping a tree won't kill it. The bleeding bark will heal and new twigs will grow. Patel writes, no, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth and exposed to the scorching hot sun, browning and hardening, twisting and withering, and then it's done. This is exactly what the colonizers did to India. Hacking and suppressing people with immense potential wouldn't be enough. The roots of the tree had to be pulled out. No, our traditional values, of course, had to be questioned. This made me think, why is it that even today we often feel like our solutions must come from the West? Why do we often turn towards external sources when we have a wealth of knowledge right here in our families, traditions, and cultures? This made me realize that the colonial mindset isn't just something which is in our textbooks or institutions. It's something that subtly creeps into our daily lives, making us question about our own resources, our own abilities, and our own solutions. Now, tackling the colonial mindset is no easy task. It's something that's been around for centuries. You might be wondering, how can we challenge something that is so deeply rooted in our societies? Well, let me tell you, it's all about taking small, deliberate steps. Steps that will not only help us challenge this mindset, but also build a new world that will celebrate us for who we truly are. We should start by redefining success on our own terms. For too long, we've measured success based on standards that aren't our own. I've been told that success is about looking in a certain way, living in a certain place, speaking a certain language, and dressing in a certain way. But what if I told you success is all about being true to yourself? What if success is about thriving in your own community, being content with your own rhythm in life, and contributing to the world in your own authentic way? The first step in tackling the colonial mindset is to say, I will not let anyone define my worth based on a template that's not my own. When I started embracing this idea, I've noticed a drastic shift. For example, I began valuing my perspective, my roots, and my cultures more. I began looking at the knowledge system we'd had for generations, whether it's local farming practices, traditional medicine, or even storytelling, and realized that these are just as important as any other foreign concept. Second step is in the realm of education. Now, if we really want to tackle this mindset, we need to go beyond what's taught in the classroom. And I'm not saying to throw away your textbooks, though I'll admit some of them are pretty dry. But we need to start appreciating other ways of learning, ways that are rooted in our cultures and societies. Think about it. Our ancestors had wisdom passed down through generations, through life experiences, oral traditions. Can we not embrace this in our own education system today? How about starting a movement where we not only celebrate formal education, but also life skills, indigenous knowledge, and creative problem solving? What would it look like if we brought back apprenticeships, mentorships, in community-based learning in a way that it balances both practical and intellectual? In my own experience, I had once visited a village where farmers did not rely on pesticides or genetically modified crops. Instead, they had an intricate understanding of the land, the season, and the plant interrelationships that we, in modern education, had completely overlooked. It wasn't just book knowledge, it was experiential knowledge. And this experience opened my eyes to the fact that education does not only come from learning in a classroom, it comes from living, it comes from engaging with your environment, and it comes from learning with your hands as much as your head. Thirdly, we need to create platforms where our local voices can be heard. We live in an era of social media where anyone can share their thoughts on anything with the world. But even in this digital age, our voices are often drowned by a certain global narrative that's been built up over centuries. How many times have you heard local heroes, local issues, or local stories sidelined in favor of something from elsewhere? We have to change that. We need to create and promote platforms where our local perspectives, our local struggles, and our local voices are heard. I've done this myself a few years ago. I've launched a community project. It was a small initiative aimed at promoting sustainable living and local culture. But initially, I was hesitant. Would people even care? But the response was overwhelming. People were hungry for the content that connected them with their roots and our shared values. Now, another important step is embracing our culture with pride. If we really want to tackle this mindset, we need to start looking at our cultural practices not as remnants of colonized past, but as living, breathing components of who we are today. And one of the most beautiful ways I've seen this done is through music. Whether it's hip-hop artists who sample traditional music, or whether it's visual artists who blend in indigenous techniques with modern styles, these expressions tell the world we are not stuck in the past. We are evolving, and we are doing it on our own terms. It's about saying, this is me, this is where I come from, and I'm proud of it. And when we say that, we invite others to embrace their cultures too, which creates a ripple effect of global appreciation. Now, let's talk about solidarity for a second. Tackling the colonial mindset isn't a solitary journey. It's one that requires all of us to come together. We need to start supporting one another's growth, whether we're entrepreneurs, artists, educators, or community leaders. One of the ways I've tackled the colonial mindset is by surrounding myself with people who encourage me to break barriers, to take risks, and to think outside the box. I remember innovating a science project not more than 2 years ago, but I was scared that it wasn't polished enough, scared that it didn't fit into what people thought a successful project should look like. But the support from my peers and mentors gave me the courage to push forward. When we support each other and come together, we challenge the very mindset that tells us you're not good enough. Together, we can achieve greatness. Now, imagine for a moment if we truly embraced our unique identities, redefined success on our own terms, amplified our local voices, celebrated our cultures with unapologetic pride, and supported each other's growth. What would India look like then? Picture an India where we no longer measure our progress against foreign standards, but instead create our own benchmarks of success, where innovation thrives from the wisdom of our traditions as much as from new technologies. Imagine an India where the stories of our villages, our diverse cultures and languages are celebrated on the world stage, not as something quaint or backward, but as powerful symbols of resilience and creativity. Imagine how every community, every individual would feel empowered to share their knowledge, their art, their vision for the future without having the fear of being less than from someone elsewhere. Can you see it? A nation where our children grow up, not just learning from the textbooks written far away, but from the living wisdom of our elders, our practices and traditions. Now, imagine how this India would stand on the global stage, not as a follower of trends, but as a leader. India would no longer be chasing the future, we would be defining it. This would be a country that doesn't just survive but thrives. A vibrant nation brimming with pride, creativity, and opportunity. An India that stands tall and confident in who we are and powerful in our potential. This is the moment for every individual to rise, no matter how small the action may seem. From the classrooms to the workroom, from the remotest village to the heart of every city. This movement is the one where we rise. Now, so let us not wait for someone else to define our future. The power is in our hands today. If we start implementing these ideas, big or small, right now, we will create a nation that is not only unstoppable, but one that's a true embodiment of our cultures, our values, and traditions. Imagine that India, and let's build it together. Thank you, and Jai Hind.